You know what? Why? Because you carry a heavy load, right? You've been through a lot. And coming out of incarceration, that within itself is so super heavy, right? So people may not know that on the surface, but you have it. So you're carrying that, you know what I mean? So people want to know, like, that's why I think there may be a glow to you, because you come with so much experience. I noticed that people who have a lot of life experience, these are these people that people want to kind of be around and learn from.
Yeah.
It's more than a degree. Life experience is heavier.
Yeah, that's why I definitely wanted to get into this art form and just, you know, tell my story in many ways, in different plays and through theatrics and singing, dancing, comedy, you know, tragedy, whatever. You know, I fell in love with this art. You know, now I have a newfound friend in you. In the business.
Yes. Hold on, you supposed to tell them only if you agreed to come and work with me on doing some projects.
Okay.
Like, let me know.
It would be my pleasure.
That strong black male role, or just that role, period.
I'd be happy just to hold your clipboard, you know what I mean, and just shadow you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, serious. I mean, it would be a blessing to watch how you work and how you know, do your thing. Like I said, I'm new. I'm learning as I'm going, and I'm learning a lot. I'm meeting a lot of, you know, just connections, and I'm grateful for it. You know, and I never thought that this day would happen. You know, so I'm fortunate. You know.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Before you ask your next question, we talked a little bit about Tyler Perry. Here's something really super important I want to make sure I say before we move on. He is one in like a million cajillion forms of playwriting, right? He's just one little tiny little speck, right? This whole art form is a whole thing on its own, and it's very established. It has been around for hundreds of years, you know what I mean? Yes. And he's done something unique in that he basically said, I'm going to write a story and I'm going to throw it on stage. And a lot of people liked it. So it became a business for him. But that's not what most playwrights do. Okay? Not knocking what he has done. But what happens is there's a lot of people who will do, you know, follow the same format. Well, I'm going to be Tyler Perry, right? I'm going to be Tyler Perry. Look, I have Tyler Perry on my vision board. I plan to be friends with this man someday, right? But I don't want to do what Tyler Perry did, and I'm going to tell you why. In this lane, it's all about, one, it's about credibility, which we talked about, right? But you want to make sure your stuff is good, like undeniably good, right? Anybody with a couple of bucks can throw something on stage, and a lot of people can come because there's a famous person in it. That doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't. You know, it's just making a little bit of change here and there. And then if it's really not good, then people are going to talk about how not good it is. And then that pushes you out the game. And then people start losing, you know, like interest. And so I kind of caution on a little bit about, you know, necessarily following his path all the way. There's parts of it I think are really genius. But there's other parts of it too to consider. So going through the process of taking a play from its infancy to doing stage readings with it, having people give you feedback on what they're seeing, and then you grow it, like mold it from there. I wrote a play. It's now called Daisies on Harlem's Doorstep. It's a big body of work, right? But it started off as a little kernel of an idea, and it was biscuits and bacon. It was one little short play, 10-page play. And that has now ballooned into the 60-page play, and it's still not done. It's about to be a 90-page play. 2 theaters are coming together to help me mold it into a piece that will, you know, go and travel regionally. Wow. All right, this is going to be a nice monster of a piece. I want this piece to be right up there next to Dominique Marceau's pieces in a season. That's where it should be. Because I'm doing that, going through the process of really molding it. We're talking now, this will be 2 years working on this play. This is not me saying, oh, I'm going to write this little cute play get a couple $100, throw it on stage, let's make some money. No, we're not doing that. We're going to take our time, we're going to build it and make it so good that it's undeniable, and then it will last for centuries. Look at the color purple.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Purple, it started off as a story, started off as a book, right? Here we got a play, we got a movie, we have a national treasure.
Yes.
Because this person took the time. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So that's how important your voice is. That's how important it is to care about the quality and developing a piece.
Yes. Well, I don't think I can ever match Alice Walker's writing.
You might do better. You might do bigger. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Yeah. So I love that, the advice that you're giving me. I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Like you said, this is a mass production situation, and I'm just beginning. I'm just starting off, and so what other advice could you give me for someone who's just getting a foot in the door or trying to get a foot in the door?
Well, that there, what I just told you, I was telling you that because you're so fresh. You know what I mean? I want to make sure I catch you right now. Like, this is so important. I wish the old me knew that, but I had to try, and I went through my little bumps and my little, I did the Tyler Perry thing. I definitely put a play out there. And then I realized, I was like, oh, shoot, people don't like this. People don't like, and thankfully it wasn't like the whole world saw it and we put it on YouTube. No, it was, ooh, that thing.
You know what's up when you grab yourself.
Oh my God. I was like, what? Like, people are just like,
Clutch your pearls and just start rocking. Just be like, I was young. I was new. I didn't know.
I was trying. I was figuring it out.
Right.
Right. Some other advice is, of course, learn as much as you can, which you are already doing. But really, like, looking at people who are where you really, really want to be. Like, I'm not talking just career-wise. I'm talking about, how does the rest of their life look?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, are they happy with the rest of their life? Like, does their life look like something I'd like to kind of model after? And then that should give you, like, a start. And then, you just grow from there, and then you get other ideas. And I would definitely say look at other forms within the art. So you like comedy. That's cool. Try to learn learn about all the comedic pieces that there are, but definitely learn drama, because there's that opposite piece that you need to make a good comedy. If you want to make a good comedy, you need to make a good drama, and it'll come together. If you want to make a good drama, you need to be able to lighten things up and have some comedy in there. You have to. Those two cannot be separate.
They peanut butter and jelly. Peanut butter jelly. They are. They're PB and J.
Peanut butter and jelly. Yeah.
Every good comedy always has that one straight man. Even when you look at Golden Girls, Rose can say some crazy stuff with a straight face, and all the rest is like trying not to laugh and keep it together. She's like, what? What did I say? But that's what makes it. That's what makes it that balance, because you have that serious one, and then you have that person that comes in there cracking the joke, and you're like, now ain't the time to be joking. I don't know the kind of day you didn't have, but this is the kind of day I didn't have. Right. Let's compare it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's all through sitcoms, right? And then you see it a little bit on like the drama series on Netflix and stuff. But definitely having an appreciation and an appetite for both. Oh, it's important. Yeah, and when I got so I went through this Commedia dell'arte class. Do you guys have that at that school?
No.
Commedia dell'arte?
They wouldn't even know what shut up, Alex. We lied.
We don't have that.
It's like this old Italian, discipline to get, to do comedy or whatever. And it's all about like movement and things like that, like quick movements. And it's supposed to be funny. Like it's this quick, witty type of thing too when you're talking. But that class really broke me. Like it really, because I was very dramatic, so sad, dramatic. And then when I did that class, I was like, I can't be funny. Like I was crying. It was really bad. I was like, how do you force being funny? This is dumb. I don't like this. This is dumb. And then
you got the whole neck, shoulders.
this is not my lane.
Sound like my last class I just took with my teacher. I was like, she's stupid.
They have these archetypes of characters that you have to try to portray. And so I was assigned this male character, and I was like, okay, like, how am I supposed to be funny? I had to learn that it was all about the honesty of the piece, right? So they kept saying, okay, well, who can you identify with? Like, if I snap my finger, who's the first male you think of? I don't know why I chose LL Cool J. I think I was
right, because your lips raw from the
and they were like, there you go. So I had to find a way to do all this like movement, being LL Cool J, and I was talking like him. You know, like it was a whole. And then it turned out to be really.
Can we hear it?
I had my hat on to the side, and as people were talking,
you're not gonna get away that easy.
Lines from the songs, and it had no choice but to be funny because it was coming from an honest place. I was like, this is who I honestly know right now, right?
So are you gonna give us some LL Cool J?
Huh?
You gonna give us some LL Cool J?
Our advisors help them on making you relive the whole experience. And I love it. They ain't gonna even lie.
Oh, hilarious. It was so crazy. But yeah, so definitely they go together.
Yeah.
They go together. Mm-hmm. Embrace it all. Don't force nothing. Forced funny is not funny, you know. But being honest in both areas works. Just honest, like really raw, really honest, from an honest place. It works.
Okay. Speaking of that, right? You said don't force it. I learned about the canon, and when you write, do you worry about the mass public and how they would think about your playwright as far as the canon is concerned?
No, because I don't write for them.
When you say canon, I think about canon in a film context. What do you mean?
Well, they said that they, meaning my professors in the women's playwright, he always spoke about Jill Dolan, who always spoke about the canon, which was like basically sort of like the Oscars within the theater world. You know, it's not an actual establishment, but it's just a bunch of scholars who critiqued theater. And Jill Dolan, she always speaks about the canon, and she always writes to try to please them. You don't seem like the type who worries about anything like that, do you?
Yeah, and I understand why, because everyone wants to make a name for themselves. Everyone wants to rise to the top. Everybody wants to get them dollars, right? That's what we want. We want the dollars. What it really comes down to for me is just growing things from the ground up, making really good work, and letting it sell itself.
Okay.
And people, I want it to be so that these people are knocking on my door like, hey, can we contract with you? Like, what else can we get out of that brain of yours? What else you got going on up here that we can, work with you on? That's what I would want. I wouldn't want so much to write to please. That to me would actually be a mistake, because then you're not going to have authentic work. It's going to be something manufactured and not something that's like genuine.
I have a follow-up question with that. So with that being in mind, when you do write, who is it that you're writing for? Are you writing for yourself, or are you just writing to get your ideas out? If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. The reason why I say that is because when I create art, people are like, Alex, you made this art. Some people may feel indifferent about it. Some people may like it. I made a flag for Black History Month. I made it out of slave ships and slaves.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was, printed up like 36 by 36. So people had mixed feelings. Nobody likes the American flag being messed with. I did it for Black History Month or whatever. I said, it doesn't matter. I didn't make it for you.
Right.
Like, I don't care how you feel about it. This is what I did. This is what I was going through. This is how I could comfortably express myself and get it out from me. Whether you like it or not, whether you want prints of it or not, I've sold prints of it. A few faculty and staff members have prints of it. Some have it in their office. because whether you think it's a silent protest or you just getting it out. I just put it out there. If you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. So I mean, I didn't make it for you anyway.
Right.
So I mean, that's how I feel about it. Like, especially when you're passionate. So I just wanted to know your views on it.
Yeah, I think what you did was you created what was really in the American conscious right now. You're speaking to the conscious, and you're speaking from yourself. You created something that you wanted, and you took a risk doing that too. Not everyone's gonna like that. And you risk your reputation, you risk what people could say about you, and you risk. And I think that that's noble, because when you take a leap like that, you're putting yourself out there saying, this is who I am. This is what I want people to see. And if you like it, cool. If not, that's okay too. Either way, it's gonna have a following. Either way. I'm very similar in that way. Theater is a little tricky though, because you do need to listen to what people say. Right. Because you can't make something that just sinks to the ground, sinks to the bottom of the ocean like a rock and nobody cares. That doesn't work either. Right. You know what I mean? It has to, you do need to get some reaction out of people. That's why stage readings are so important. So important. Doing 4 of them, 5 of them even, to get it so good that it's undeniable and you hit that sweet spot. It's like having a tug of war with the audience who's giving that feedback, saying, okay, what did you see in this piece? What were the hot spots? What were the parts you were confused about? Those are the general questions I ask when I do stage readings. And then if people are saying things constantly saying the same thing, that's a sign for me I need to make an edit somewhere, or do something with that in my way that I feel good about. Or if people a lot of times there will be some random comment about oh, I just didn't understand this, I didn't like that. I'm like, well, that's just you. You know what I mean? That's just you. That's just one opinion. You can't please everybody. Right. You just can't. And you shouldn't want to. You should make work that's unapologetic and is yours, and then you make your mark. But there does have to be this relationship with you and audience, and then you've got to somehow meet in the middle, because it won't work if it's just you. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. I know I'm talking a lot.
No, it's fine. We love it.
We love it.
Are you
going? Keep going.
We love it. I'm a talkaholic. Man, you even got the wrong crew.
So when I was in Philly going through this performing arts program, same program where I did Zebra Stripes, right? We went to see one of these plays. And it was a Fringe Festival play, right? It was a girl, it was 30 minutes. This girl stood there for the whole 30 minutes and melted for 30 minutes.
Yeah. What? Melted. Mimic melting.
Oh, for 30 minutes. Damn, 30 minutes. I'm mad at you. How dare you?
I was sitting there
I could have had a V8.
We had to write what we thought about. I'm like, please don't ask me what I think about. Please. Please. I know mine is going to be the one that's going to be like, oh my God, But it was horrible. I mean, not to judge somebody's work, but this is one of those pieces that you did not do this audience any kind of service. This was completely self-indulgent, right? We had no idea, or at least I didn't. I didn't have a feeling of wow, I really learned something today. I really felt something today. I didn't feel none of that. It was just melt, okay?
What university were you going to at the time? Were you in a university? You said it was a course for a class, or it was just one of those?
It was part of a class, so it was a semester away program in Philly. And part of my assignments was to go to these 25 different plays. This was the one where it's mostly predominantly white, and there was just the one black guy in the 3 plays. So this one play, I'm like, and that was so good for me to see that, because I'm like, wow, this is what people are doing out here. This is what people are going to see. I mean, she had people clapping, and you have to look at it too. Right? I was looking at the audience. It was predominantly white, right? So it's you have to think about your audience. I love a diverse audience. Give me a diverse audience. you're not really teaching anyone anything if you really have just one predominant group. You could have that, that's fine. It's good for a while. But it's when you have that diversity, now you're teaching stuff. Yeah. And that's where the art comes into play. With the flag with the boats on it, imagine seeing a Chinese person walking around with that shirt. That's deep to me. Yeah, that says, wow, we're teaching something here, right? That's really, I think, the ultimate goal. I mean,
I don't know. You done inspired me for like another little piece, so when I throw it up there, I'm gonna have to add your name to it. I believe in giving credit where credit is due. A co-collab. Co-collab, most definitely. That is deep, because I have a friend that's actually Asian, and we were taking this philosophy class on race, gender, and ethnicity. And my professor was kind of like pissed. She was like, "Why don't y'all want to talk about the book? Come on, is it hard? Is it hard? It's not a hard book. It's an easy book." I said, "No, it's because most of us is living this right now. Hell, we want to read it for it and then go and do a reflection."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you just like reflect on what.
You might as well just ask me for autobiography. Yeah.
Like, you might as well ask me from life to death. Oh, what didn't happen to me? And I can give you a story in 15 minutes on me waking up and having to make it all the way over here. When you live in the country, which is literally cars and people on horsebacks.
Right.
Like just riding.
But you make a wonderful point about, when people want you to read about your story.
Right.
And then reflect.
All
I gotta do is just tell you about my life.
Because the truth and actuality is the book's not written for me.
No,
the book's not written for me. The book is written for the haves and not the have-nots. The have-nots, we already know this. But the ones that have, they're like, I just don't understand. Carl, do you know like when I was reading page 27, chapter 18, I really just couldn't understand what poor little Jamil was going through. Jamil. Like, I mean, you get that. You just like, oh. Yeah. And you have to look at this. You just like, I don't feel sorry for you. Your parents just bought tickets to wine country. Right. You mad because you got to see. You passing?
Right.
What's not gonna happen? They're not gonna pay your insurance for 1 month. I don't like, and I don't want to judge you because you were born in a state of privilege. I mean, I don't want to judge you, but at the same time, really, really do some community service.
So I have a question for you. I'm gonna try to
get a chair.
I'm old. Yeah, I'm old. All right, so I do have a question for you. So you were gonna tell me about the years of you miming and how the hell did you get into a video with Faith Evans? How'd that happen? How did you do that?
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh Lord.
That's the look I give people when they tell me I should do comedy, and I'm just like,
yeah. So 10 years ago, right? It was about 10 years ago. I was working for a school. I was teaching kids, and I was new. This was where I got my calling in theater, right? Because somebody, just like how people say to you, there's something about you, right? I was interested in independent music, and singing and stuff like that. I wasn't the greatest singer, but I was a grand hustler with my music, right? So like my father was out there selling my CDs, like I was that person. And I was going to this network. I went to this networking event, and somebody pointed to me and said, "You just look like you would work really well with kids. Would you teach drama?" Like out of nowhere. And I was like, "Teach first of all, and then drama?" I don't know anything about. I'm into music. She's like, yeah. Just come interview at the school tomorrow. We have an opening. I was like, I don't even know so much about this lane. And she's like, no, just come. Now I was 25. I went on instinct. I just went. I said there must be something if she's that persistent. And I just believe like your miracles and things like that come out of the blue in weird ways like that. So I just roll with it. I go there the next day. The principal literally looks at me up and down, and she's like, "How are you with kids?" And I was like, "I'm the oldest of 5. Like I help raise my brothers and sisters." And she's like, "Mm-hmm. And do you like to perform?" I was like, yeah. You know, I like to. She was like, okay, we'll see you tomorrow. I was like, what? It's kind of how it like started, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta really do my research, you know. So that whole week, I took the time to really do my research as much as I could on theater world and get to really know it, get to know like who's popular in theater, just the art form itself, everything about it. I was watching a lot of videos. Make a long story short, within those first like few months of me really learning about theater, I started to like this idea about miming. And I was like, you know, when I was working with the kids, I was like, the only thing I'm missing here is the emotion on their face. I don't really see the emotion like that. Now, mind you, I grew up with deaf grandparents. I'm considered what you call a coda, right? So like the majority of my childhood, I was raised with deaf people. So about 70% of it, I would say. So everything's expressive, everything. Your whole communication is with your face. And so these kids are, you know, like kind of deaf-faced to me. I'm like, oh no, we need to spice this up. So I got into miming because of that, to teach them to be more expressive. So I put the makeup on my face and I was in the mirror and I was trying some stuff. And then I was playing some music and I was like, ooh, this goes, right? So I was signing with the music. And then I put a video on YouTube. My friend goes, I saw your video. That's hot. I was like, okay. And he was into film and stuff like that. So he was like, I want to do something with that. I was like, all right, cool. So I went up to his studio. He filmed me doing lions, tigers, and bears with the makeup on and everything. I'm not scared of lions. You know, Jasmine.
Oh, no, she
yes.
So I was
she can hold a note.
No, she can hold
wait, smooth hustler.
Wait a minute.
I'm from Vegas.
Wait a minute.
I know what that is.
She don't say that.
You hit them riffs real quick.
Talented.
So I'm doing the signs with it, and I did that video, and a few months later, I get a message on Facebook from Faith Evans, one of her like managers, somebody, whatever, saying, kind of picking my brain a little bit just to make sure I was that person in that video. She said they were using that video as a reference for what they were looking for in LA to cast somebody for her music video, and they couldn't find it doing what I do. Like they had an audition for mimes, but they were doing like, you know, the stuff you see on the street and all that, whatever. But it wasn't what I was doing, like with the emotions, with the music and stuff. So then they were like, I don't know if it's possible, but we have the video shoot next week. Can you be here next week? And I was like, well, what is this about? Who's the video for? I'm thinking it's just a music video, like for some local person. They're like, Faith Evans. I was like, yeah, I'll be there. So they're trying to be all cool, but yeah, I'll be there. And I was like screaming, like, yes, this is going to be great. So I flew out there and I was in her video. And that was that. That was like
awesome.
A big step into the theater world. That was huge.
The background story, someone else that I know that was teaching me ASL, teaching me American Sign Language, said the same thing, because everything is facial expression. She took a class and mime. Never forget that Professor Page.
So that helped you, huh? So
yeah.
the miming helped you like discover your love for acting. That's incredible.
Yeah. And it was a safe space, because another thing, and I'm running into this even more recently, like just with regular everyday work stuff, because I still have a 9 to 5, right? I have a 9 to 5. I work for a mental health agency during the day, and I do my theater stuff outside of that, and I work around it. And I started doing my theater stuff with my job, but my face has gotten me in trouble just as much as it's gotten me miracles. It's gotten me in trouble. Like, it's a whole thing right now. It's a whole thing. So it's
like, I can't even get into it right now.
She said that's how big of a thing it is.
I know that's right.
The facial expression.
People think I'm mad and I'm not. You know, like there's a whole study on this. There's a whole study.
Pointing at her, because same thing, but she showed everything with her facial expression. She might not say WTF, but boy, you see it dance across the my brow.
Right. But you know, in deaf culture, there's punctuation, you know, just like you would write the punctuation mark, or, you know, like just like when you're speaking, there's ups and downs and highs and lows and little punctuations. You using your face to do that. Literally, when you're asking a question, it'll look like you're mad because you're really like it looks like you're listening. That's all you're doing. You're really engaged with what the person is saying. So I've been accused of looking mad, having an attitude problem. It's a mess, but it happens.
God forbid when he really is upset, mad, and got an attitude and shit.
Right.
They're gonna be like, oh, you know, you were feeling so much better the other day. What was your problem? Like, I was pissed. Guys ran out of my car. Like, just like, car ain't acting right. Like, just no.
So,
yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, that's the mom story. How I got into that. But then I grew out of it. You know, it was like, that was cool. And then once I went to that program in Philly, that's where I kind of shed it off. I just shed it because it had its place. It was like, okay, I did that cool thing, but then I actually really learned like the meaning behind mime and why you use it. It's more of a discipline when you're doing it in that way than it is like, you know, like street miming stuff is like, it's like a cheap way to make money. You know what I mean? Like this is what they do in France, right? Like that's where it really like started as far as that kind of thing. Because there's different forms. And they use it as a discipline in class to really get you, you know, to hone your acting skills and do all that and groom your acting skills. More so than just doing that as a profession. Like I would not do that as a profession. And now it's so oversaturated with like the gospel community. It's like, yeah, I'm in a completely different space now.
Just reminding myself, just because you think it don't mean you gotta say it. No, you lie.
I'm shaking your head.
Like a whole few lines just ran through my head. Like, boy, the drivers, once you get them out your head, boy, once you get them out, other than that, they taking up space. You just like, you know what? She can't drive no more. I need to switch drivers. Switch drivers. You can't drive no more. You just can't. You're on timeout.
Yeah,
it's okay. I'll laugh at
it is the whole thing. I still to this day get emails. Can you teach my daughter to mime to gospel? I'm like, oh my god, this is not. No, I can't.
That part of me is gone. I'm not doing that anymore. I wanted to ask you a question about you won this award. It's like 13. I think there was like a few that went out, and you won it recently. What was the name of that award again? I'm sorry.
It is the Dr. Floyd Gaffney African American Experience Award for University of California, San Diego.
Yes. So
yes.
Can you explain how you won the award and the process of all that?
So here's a little secret, right? PlaywrightCenter.com. You might want to write that down.
Of course.
PlaywrightCenter.com, right?
He's writing it. I'm gonna get it from him.
Yep. We have on that website, once you become a member, they have all of these different opportunities that come down the pike, that come through. They get sent to your email and they're on your profile as well. You can just log on and see what opportunities there are. And I'm also like tied to a couple of other submission things, and they automatically send me emails. And if I see something that it fits what I have, I immediately just submit. You know, I send my email, my introduction email, introducing my play, kind of like selling the play, saying this is what it is. It has this many characters. It's this runtime. Here's my contact information. Here's a synopsis. And I just submitted it. And they specifically wanted me to submit it from my school email to prove that I'm a student. And so I did that. And within a few months, they contacted me and said, congratulations, your play has been selected as the 13th annual winner of this award. And then they flew me out there, and the students performed my play, and it was amazing to see that. But they did it as a stage reading. So,
That's
yeah.
Nice.
It was really
because
cool.
I mean, you weren't there to really direct them.
I was there to give a little bit of insight because they had a director. So I had to be careful and, you know, do the little dance and you know, just kind of make sure I don't overpower, you know, what he's doing. Because the director has the vision. I'm just the playwright. Most of the time, you're not even in touch with the playwright. You know what I mean? So in this case, I was there to be a part of the process so I can tweak anything I needed to tweak in the writing. But I gave some insight into some of the characters. So, for example, there's a deaf character. a lot of times you'll see in my work, I'll throw in a deaf character because that is true to my world, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a story about these 5 women living in Harlem in a small apartment in Harlem during the 1920s. And one of the characters is deaf. And so she really is the character that you rely on to kind of give you insight on what's coming up next because she's so expressive, right? So but the little micro behaviors I had to kind of coach a little bit. So it was helpful for me to be there, but the playwright does not always need to be there.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I love that.
Okay. So, Miss, you just got a whole bunch of I just feel like
I don't know. I'm about to, excuse me, sir.
I pretty much ran through my questions. I do have like just one final question, and would you say that theater is dying or it's on a rise?
Oh no, it's on a rise. It's on a huge rise. I think it's going to start. I think we're seeing a shift in theater because there's a lot of social justice stuff that's being done in theater. Yep. Theater will never die. Theater will never die. I think it's the film industry would die before theater would die.
We watching it die. They're taking all of our cartoons and making them live action. We watching it die. That's all I'm gonna say.
Theater is beyond an art form. It's an education.
It is.
It's an education, and it's a mirror to the current consciousness. Mm-hmm. It can't go away. It's literally theater has changed some things in history, so it's just something that can never go away. Yeah, when you look back at the history and you how do we know about the things that have happened? It's because of the art on the walls. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's deep.
Right?
And I
quote. We got a quote too. It's the art on the walls, and you just don't know how that just like that pierced me in so many different ways. I'm right now currently working on a project that is it's outstanding. It's outstanding, and it speaks to those words that you wrote. And I'm gonna have to throw that little quickity quote on in there.
No, you're gonna have to have.
I got little bars right.
Oh yeah.
It's the art, definitely. Because think about Egypt. How would you know how they lived? How? It's the hieroglyphics. It's the art on the wall. It's the stories they told and wrote it on the wall. You know what I mean?
Go ahead and preach. I wouldn't mind sitting at your drink.
Greek mythology. That's all theater. I mean, they would act this stuff out and but they would write these stories. Stories don't die. So theater's not going anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. You just see it more if you see people do different things with it. You have the Tyler Perrys, and then you have the Dominique Marceaux. Like there's different things, but it's not gonna die. No.
Yeah, I asked that because Todrick Hall, he takes a lot of like plays and then he puts them into like movie form and puts it on YouTube and. Like he did the Chicago, he like did his own version of it.
The Disney villains, I loved it.
Yeah, so
he's really good. He's really creative. Yeah.
So was at the bar chilling with a few He's outstanding. Shout out to you, Todrick. Shout out.
So I have a question for you. You mentioned a few plays that you that kind of changed your trajectory. And put influence on you. What are a few plays that you would recommend for anyone to see, not just people who write, who are script writers or anything like that? What are a few plays? Maybe like your top 5.
One would be hers. Anything that she puts on.
Anything you put on.
Anything.
Top is yours. All right.
Yeah. She said, I said, I'm gonna toot that horn all day.
Yeah, I subscribe to her channel already.
My top 5. Okay, so these are there's a couple plays that you can see, if it were to come to your city, right? Like popular Broadway plays. If we were to talk about Broadway plays, because Broadway plays are big commercialized stories, right? Mm-hmm. I would have to say Jersey Boys, number 1. Jersey Boys. I love Jersey Boys. I love Jersey Boys.
Yeah, write that down. Go ahead, write that down.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Jersey Boys because I love the storyline and I love the set. I'm in love with set. The set sells me every time. I'm like, ooh, because the set lives and breathes the story itself too. It's not just, let's throw a couch up there, let's do this just because we need it. No, it's part of the story. Literally, if a character is like a really soft, tender person, you'll see a piece of furniture on stage that's soft and, has like a plush, and like texture to it. The set designers are very strategic in making sure the set makes sense with the story, not just for visuals, but for feels. So I love that. Jersey Boys has that.
Okay.
It's so dope. I mean, they really tie it all in. They were called the 4 seasons at first. You'll see it flash across the different seasons, right? It's so hot. I like it.
I've seen like them like selling tickets for that, and I never thought, oh, I'm gonna go see that. I never considered to go see that, so now I'm gonna have to go and check it out.
Yeah. And it's true because like the first thing you think of when you see it in the promos, it's like, oh, these 5 white guys. No, that play is tough. That play, ooh.
That play, but it's my okay. Now me all excited.
Like I love, it's like 1950s music. It's so cool. It's just such a cool piece. And it inspired me to write Legends of the Forgotten Borough, which is a story about the Force and Peace. So I worked closely with them, and they're the ones who did that song "Tender Love."
Of course.
Yeah.
Tears, all that.
Right. But people don't. Sometimes they look at me like, oh, they think this other group, and I'm like, no. So I worked with them closely. We did that piece. And we took a lot of time to develop it. We worked on that piece for 2 years. We did it at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. It was a hit there. It did really well. And I've kind of put it to the side for now to move on to work on other things. And one day, when I have bigger pockets, I'll probably, do some more with that piece. But it inspired me. Jersey Boys inspired me to write that piece. So that was cool. Memphis. Memphis is a really good piece, really relevant, even though it takes place in the 60s. Memphis is dope. I'm just talking Broadway plays right now.
That's fine.
But there's other plays that are independent that you wouldn't see around that's just easily booked. They're like, I'm really passionate about independent work.
Right.
So,
well, anything that you think that we would could benefit from. It doesn't have to be a mainstream one.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a play going around right now at regional theaters called Milk Like Sugar.
Milk Like Sugar.
Yeah, I was in that play.
I heard about this one.
Yeah. Milk Like Sugar.
About this one.
It's a play about teen pregnancy.
Yeah, Milk Like Sugar.
And it's good. It's a good piece of work. It made me think a lot when I was performing it. And I had to like really dig into like me being a teenager again and feeling that all over again. So I kind of had to like it was like therapy for me to do that piece. So I have a fondness for that piece. Milk Like Sugar. Christian Greenidge is the playwright.
Christian Greenidge.
Christian Greenidge. There's a couple of other, like, I'm trying to think of ones that you may be able to see. The Color Purple play is hot.
Yeah, it is.
That's a tough one. I've seen it. That's hard to get through. That was hard to get through for me.
Yeah, the work. And I saw it with Cynthia, what is it, Ovo? The one who's playing Harriet Tubman.
What?
I saw her as the lead.
Wow.
Okay.
She's amazing. Oh my God, her singing is like out of this world.
There hasn't been anything done on Harriet Tubman since Cicely Tyson, to be honest. Like a serious body of work done on Harriet Tubman, really, when you think about it, since Cicely Tyson.
Yeah.
And she did an outstanding job.
There's 2 others. I know that we're doing 5, but I have a...
No, give me what you got.
They're In the Heights.
In the Heights.
By Lin-Manuel.
Okay, I heard.
In the Heights. In the Heights. I love that piece. Love that piece. It's a really good Really good piece. Everything about it, the dancing, the singing. I mean, it's like literally going to a rap concert. It's just so beautifully done. The whole, it's literally the way they're delivering the lines. It's a musical in form, in structure, but they're rapping to each other. It's so hot. Like, oh my God. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, this is amazing. Like, they sound like their style of flow, the way he set it up is like Eminem.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Okay.
It's spitfire, like, back and forth with each other with the words, and it's like they're telling the story. It's just so amazing. And my friend, she's up in Hartford. Her name is Sin Martinez. She's like an up and coming playwright trying to like get her stuff out there. Her play is called Pig Out. It's about a Puerto Rican family in the 70s. Amazing piece. Amazing. Really good raw piece.
Pig Out.
She's trying to get it booked in different places. It needs to be seen everywhere. It's
give me her name one more time. Sid.
Pig Out. It's spelled P-E-G-A-O. I think.
What's her name? What's the author's name? The creator's name?
Sin Martinez. Okay. So C-I-N.
C-I-N.
Let me see if I can find it.
Martinez. Spell martini and then this.
Yes, that's how you spell it. P-E-G-A-O.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely look her up if you can. She promotes a lot. Promotes her work a lot on Instagram and stuff.
Okay.
But that's my girl. We were in the Women's Theater Festival. She had me alongside her piece and another female playwright out here. Our pieces were in the Hartford Women's Theater Festival.
Very nice.
And now she developed her piece, and now it's like taking on a life, and it's really cool.
So I remember you were, I think you put out a play. Recently we kind of discussed it. I believe it was to deal with the opioid crisis.
Yes.
What was it? What's the name of this play, your new play?
It's called Matthew Rising. And it has to do with the opioid crisis. Here's another thing, right? When you write a piece that has to do with like something that's super relevant that's happening in the community, that's when people start latching on. So this is just, another income stream for you. This is another revenue stream. This is another way to actually get your work funded, because this is a struggle for a lot of up and coming playwrights. Well, how do I get my work funded, right? Right. If you create work that's super relevant right now that people need to see, you will get that kind of support. And also too, you're taking an art form and putting those two things together where otherwise you wouldn't see them, and it's good. It's just really good. So this opioid crisis is a major problem right now, nationwide. Kids are buying this stuff, buying fentanyl online through the dark web. Like China is selling it on the dark web, and tons of people are dying because they're taking laced drugs. They don't know it's laced with this stuff.
Yeah. Right. There's a big crisis out here in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's an epidemic out here. They have now a lot of Argus, I believe it's pronounced Argus or Agus clinics that are popping up all over town, both to help with treatment, other alternatives, just different ways to get these people off of these opioids. And what they're finding out is that even within the mental health profession, that the mental health people are able to write prescriptions for anything across the board. And a lot of that being opioids and different things like that. So just looking at certain things and plays, like you say, they change a lot of things. They help people see into a lot of different perspectives, and they help with change. They help with change. They
Absolutely.
Help with change. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. This piece is a short piece. It's a 45 minutes, and it comes with a discussion. So we're going to debut it in January 16th. And it's for a big community meeting where all of these different health organizations will be there. I got a small sponsorship from the New Haven Arts Council to do it. And this violence prevention grant is supporting it, as well as another mental health agency is supporting it. So very excited about that. So with that, I'm able to pay the cast. I'm able to get the set bill. You know, I'm able to do everything I need to do to get this done for this meeting. And we're filming it and getting pictures. So, yeah, that's what we're working on. And the play is about 2 teenage boys who are experimenting with opioids.
Wow.
Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
It's just like, oh, it's only 45 minutes. In that 45 minutes, you can changes can be made. Mountains can be moved. Yeah. Somebody can be like, well, damn.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, those are reality.
That it is. Exactly. It is, because when you put on something and someone's like, I'm living that. I'm not just reading that. I'm watching this play out in front of me. I'm watching somebody else go through it. If this person's making a play about it, like you said, it comes from the different things that are in your community, the different things you grew up around, the different things that have influenced you in your life, then you know you're not the only person that this is happening to. It's not just you. It's not just in your community, in your neighborhood, your relative. It hits you across board, especially in the Black and brown communities. Black, brown, and tan. Don't want to leave nobody out.
What's beautiful is I'm going to put out a little soft call for it, you know, to see if anybody would be interested in performing in it. And a African-American boy, 17, came to me, and a white boy, 17, came to me. Both of them are in the play. And it's really beautiful to see that diversity. And it just says a lot to the fact that the kids care. Mm-hmm. They care about the crisis. You know, they've mentioned that. Like, they've said that. We care about this, and, you know, we want to act. And I'm like, cool. So,
I love it. Because it shows that it's affecting you, it's affecting me. Mm-hmm. In these areas, we are the same. Like, it's not just you. It's not just in this area. It's not just with this race or this nationality. It's across the board. It's across the board.
I mean, we were. I mean, you know, I already reached out to you about us.
Oh yeah,
I know. I would love to have, and it's interesting that when you were saying all that, that's exactly the stuff that was going through my head, and working with the community in terms of like the health.
Yes.
Help
mental.
To put on something like this.
Yeah.
So hopefully, in the near future, we can put on that play and have you come out here and see your play on this college campus.
That's what we talking about. You over here like it's the golden ticket.
I love California.
Like real talk.
I mean, you guys have such great energy out there.
No, we try. I mean, I'm like this every day, all day, even when there's no time for it.
Right.
Like, people be like, can't you just be serious? I grew up in a serious household. I know what that looks like, and I know what it does to you, mentally and physically. I'll think about it.
But I want to say thank you so much for gracing us with your time. I know it's like 3 hours ahead over there, so it's like almost 10 o'clock or something over there.
Oh, God bless your soul.
It's all good. I'm about to actually hit the road after I'm done with you guys. I'm driving down 3 hours, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now I feel guilty. Real guilty.
Yeah.
I'll make a deal when you come out here. We'll make sure you have a great and wonderful time.
Yay.
I definitely will make you laugh till your stomach hurt, and then when I walk away, you'll be like, "Is something wrong with her?" And they're gonna be like, "Yeah," but she either gonna tell you her top 5 or just pick her favorites. So
exactly.
Like, but real talk, exactly.
A T-shirt though. I definitely want a T-shirt. So
you're definitely gonna get a T-shirt. You definitely. I'm personally gonna send you.
That's right.
I'll give it to our advisor to make sure you get. I'm definitely gonna give you that American flag, a copy of that, and definitely we're gonna do something with that.
So it will rep that definitely.
Yeah. So I just want to say, whenever we have people who like help us out and they volunteer with us and they share their experiences, one of the things that we do is that we give all the things that we've created if we're making products, if we're making shirts and stuff like that, we always send everybody who does stuff with us a package, because we appreciate the fact that you are taking so much time and you're helping us. You don't have to. You really don't. And I remember I had reached out to you, and you were so nice. I had reached out to you for the Girl Power Conference, and I was like, I want to get you out here, but I don't know. And you were just so excited, and I was like, we weren't able to get things going at that time, but the fact that you were receptive to us still working together, I was just like, you're an amazing person. And
you want to say to the guys, Hunter?
Yes, I do. I definitely want to say thank you.
This is what I love this. You know, like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
You know, we have to support each other. There's no point of doing the work if we can't support each other, right?
Right.
So that's what it's about.
Exactly.
And each one teach one.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, I definitely want to thank you for that. It was an honor and a pleasure. And I'm definitely looking forward to maybe, you know, meeting you one day, and you know, we'll see if I can work with you one day, you know. But it's definitely
a co-collab with two screen. A co-collab.
How about this? Internship. Internship.
Like I said, I'll hold your clipboard. I'll bring your coffee.
I just want to write.
Shadow you.
Exactly. I just want to watch you work so I can learn.
So thank you for all the advice and everything. Thank you for taking the time out for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Hey, and be safe. Don't be out here driving, all right? You tired and stuff, okay?
I'll try.
No, you better try now. You better take you a nap and be like, I'm gonna be there.
I'm gonna find your man. I'm gonna send him a message and be like, you know what? She working hard. You need to make
real
sure
hard.
She working way too hard.
I'm gonna give you a foot massage.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you so much.